Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a world just full of ambition, prophecy, and some pretty bloody consequences. It's a story that's gripped audiences for centuries.
We are, of course, talking about Shakespeare's monumental tragedy, Macbeth.
Exactly. You've handed us this classic play, and our mission, well, we've definitely accepted it.
Yeah.
We're going to guide you through its every twist and turn, act by act, scene by scene.
Hmm.
We'll uncover the pivotal moments, those intense internal struggles, and the shocking events that shape one of literature's most infamous characters.
Think of this as your backstage pass.
Yeah.
We're not just looking at what happens in Macbeth, but really digging into why it matters and how these ancient themes, power, guilt, fate, they still hit home today, don't they? We'll be distilling the core story, pulling out those unforgettable quotes,
Oh, there are so many.
and exploring the psychological depth that makes the play just so enduring. Get ready for some, hopefully, aha moments.
Okay, so before we jump into Act 1, let's quickly set the stage. The play is mostly set in Scotland, right? Rugged, wild landscape.
Primarily Scotland, yes. Though there's a brief but really important shift to England later on, which we'll get to.
And we'll be meeting quite the cast, the brave Scottish generals, Macbeth and Banquo, the perhaps overly trusting King Duncan,
Definitely trusted.
and the formidable Lady Macbeth. Oh, and let's not forget those rather unusual figures who sort of kick the whole thing off.
The witches. Yeah, you can't forget them. They're right there at the beginning.
So Act 1, Scene 1, it just explodes onto the scene, doesn't it? 3 witches, thunder, lightning, a desolate place.
It's incredibly atmospheric. Right from the start, we're plunged into this dark supernatural world. This isn't your typical heroic opening, is it?
Not at all. What does this immediate introduction of the witches tell us about the kind of story we're getting into? Does it suggest, Macbeth's just a puppet from the start?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it immediately signals that the natural order is, well, disrupted. The atmosphere itself, thunder, lightning, or in rain, screams chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But the real kicker is their line, fair is foul, and foul is fair. It's iconic for a reason. It's not just saying things are morally ambiguous. You could almost read it as like an active spell they're casting on reality itself.
Wow, like twisting reality.
Exactly. They're setting a theme of inversion. Appearances will be deceiving. Traditional values are going to be turned upside down. It's a chilling foreshadowing of the chaos to come.
So, are they instigators or just predictors?
Well, this first scene plants the idea that external forces, these malevolent forces, will play a big role.
Mm-hmm.
But it also hints, maybe, at the internal stuff, the predispositions that make Macbeth so susceptible to them later. Are they corrupting him or just tapping into a darkness that's already there waiting for a spark?
So even before we meet Macbeth, we're being told, don't trust what you see, don't trust what you hear, be on guard.
Absolutely. You're on high alert from line 1.
How often, thinking about it for you, our listener, do you find that the lines between good and bad get so blurred it really shakes up how you understand things?
And then, boom, scene 2 pivots completely. We're in a camp near Forres. King Duncan, his sons Malcolm and Donalbain, they're getting news from a bleeding sergeant fresh from battle.
And this scene paints Macbeth as, well, an absolute hero, doesn't it? Loyal, fearless. The sergeant's description is incredibly vivid.
It really is. He describes Macbeth unseamed him from the nave to the chaps. It's brutally violent, but in this context, it's heroic. Glorious, even.
He's praised for disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Duncan himself calls him, oh, valiant cousin, like worthy gentleman.
This is Macbeth at his peak, right? Celebrated, loyal.
Exactly. The sergeant and then Ross confirm this huge victory. They also revealed that the Thane of Cawdor, one of Duncan's nobles, was actually a traitor.
And Duncan's reaction is swift. He orders Cawdor's execution and almost immediately gives his title to Macbeth. What he has lost, noble Macbeth hath won. That speed is crucial, isn't it? Almost too quick, too convenient. And that line is just dripping with dramatic irony.
Because we, the audience, just saw the witches planning to meet Macbeth.
Right, and the irony is layered. The previous Cawdor was a traitor, and now Macbeth, unknowingly, is stepping into a title that will, very quickly, become synonymous with treason again. It's like he's inheriting this poisoned chalice of a title.
It really highlights the theme of deceptive appearances Duncan mentioned earlier, but he completely misses it here.
He places absolute trust in this new Thane of Cawdor, just like he did the old one. It firmly establishes Macbeth's public image of brave, loyal soldier right before the foul starts to take hold.
That heroic image is so strong, it makes you wonder, Was the potential for darkness always there under the surface, just waiting? Or is this a complete turn later on?
That's the million-dollar question the play keeps asking, isn't it? Nature versus nurture, almost.
Okay, scene 3. Back to the heath. This is it, isn't it? The moment everything changes.
Absolutely. The crucible moment. The witches meet Macbeth and Banquo. And they hit Macbeth with that triple prophecy, Thane of Glamis.
Which he already is.
Right. Then Thane of Cawdor.
Which he doesn't know yet.
And finally, King Hereafter.
The big one.
The really big one. And they don't leave Banquo out. They give him these cryptic lines. Lesser than Macbeth and greater, not so happy, yet much happier. And the crucial one. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none.
His descendants will be kings. Then they vanish.
Oof. And almost instantly, Ross and Angus arrive with the news. Macbeth is the new Thane of Cawdor.
Wow. Confirmation, just like that.
Exactly. That confirmation is the spark. It ignites Macbeth's ambition, maybe latent, maybe new, but it ignites and throws him into turmoil.
And his reaction is immediate, isn't it? Banquo notes he looks fearful when they say king hereafter.
Yeah, that physical reaction is so telling. It suggests the idea of being king, maybe even the implications of how to become king, weren't entirely new thoughts. It was maybe hidden, unvoiced, but there.
And he even says aside, my thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, the idea of murder pops into his head almost straight away.
Instantly. Which is disturbing. And Banquo, in this scene, he's the perfect foil. He's Macbeth's conscience, almost. He's cautious. He warns Macbeth, doesn't he?
He does. He says something like, be careful. Sometimes these instruments of darkness tell us small truths to trick us into bigger trouble.
Precisely. And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betrays in deepest consequence. He sees the danger of these half-truths.
He represents the choice Macbeth could have made, the choice to resist.
Absolutely. He shows the agency, the free will that Macbeth seems to increasingly ignore as he gets swept up by the prophecies. Banquo understands the danger of believing too readily.
And we get inside Macbeth's head with those asides. He wrestles with it, right? If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
There's that flicker of hesitation, that moment where he thinks maybe he didn't have to do anything. Maybe fate will just handle it. It shows the struggle. The conscience is still there, battling the ambition.
You can almost feel the weight of it all landing on him.
It's such a powerful dramatization of temptation. You know, for you listening, think about it. How often does a small hint, just a possibility, suddenly make a path you never considered seem incredibly tempting, almost necessary? That's the moment Macbeth is living right here.
Okay, so back to the palace at Forres. Duncan's hearing about the old Thane of Cawdor's execution. He apparently died nobly, repenting.
Yeah, and Duncan has that great line, "There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust." More irony given who he's about to trust next.
Exactly. Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, Angus arrive. Duncan's full of praise for Macbeth again. But then, the bombshell.
The bombshell. Duncan announces his eldest son, Malcolm, is now the Prince of Cumberland, basically the designated heir to the throne.
Which is a huge, unexpected roadblock for Macbeth, isn't it? That idea of chance may crown me suddenly looks a lot less likely.
It completely changes the game. That passive path is blocked. Now, if Macbeth wants the crown, he has to actively take it. Malcolm is directly in his way.
And Macbeth's reaction, again in an aside, is instant and dark. The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down or leap. For in my way it lies.
He sees it immediately as an obstacle to be overcome, violently if necessary. And then that chilling invocation, "Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires."
He knows his thoughts are evil. He's actively trying to conceal them, even from heaven. The murderous intent is solidifying.
It really is. And Duncan, poor Duncan, remains completely oblivious. After being betrayed by one Thane of Cawdor, he heaps trust on the new one, and then to cap it all off.
He invites himself to Macbeth's castle at Inverness that very night.
Right.
Talk about walking into the lion's den.
It's almost painfully ironic. Duncan represents this trusting innocence, this legitimate, benevolent rule, which makes his impending fate even more tragic. It really emphasizes that theme of appearance versus reality.
And just as Macbeth's ambition is really heating up, this massive obstacle lands right in his path. For you, listening, imagine that feeling your goal seems within reach, and then suddenly something unexpected blocks the way. How do you react? Do you look for another path, or do you consider, well, removing the obstacle?
And now, scene 5, we finally meet her. Lady Macbeth, at their castle in Inverness. She's reading a letter from Macbeth.
The letter telling her about the witches, the prophecies, becoming Thane of Cawdor.
Exactly. And her reaction is immediate and utterly ruthless.
No hesitation.
Zero. Her first thought is fear, not fear of the prophecy, but fear that Macbeth is too good, too decent to do what needs to be done. She says she fears his nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way.
The nearest way meaning murder, basically.
Precisely. She sees his goodness, his conscience, as a weakness, an obstacle to their ambition. And she resolves, right then and there, to manipulate him, to pour her spirits in his ear and chastise him out of his hesitation.
The messenger arrives. Duncan is coming tonight.
Perfect timing. Or, horrifically opportune timing. She sees it as fate delivering the opportunity straight to her door.
And then she delivers that absolutely chilling speech, the unsex me here speech.
It's one of the most powerful and disturbing soliloquies in Shakespeare. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe-top full of direst cruelty.
What does that tell us? That she thinks she needs to lose her femininity to be capable of this?
It seems so. She explicitly asks to have her womanly qualities, compassion, remorse, compunctious visitings of nature, removed and replaced with direst cruelty. She believes she needs to become something inhuman, almost monstrous, to achieve their goal. It's a conscious choice to embrace darkness.
Then Macbeth arrives, and she immediately takes charge, doesn't she?
Completely. She tells him Duncan's coming, and when he seems hesitant, she instructs him on how to act. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent underneath. It's a masterclass in deception.
She's not just suggesting the murder, she's coaching him on the performance, how to hide his true intentions.
Exactly. The dynamic is clear from the start. He says, "We will speak further," showing his hesitation, maybe wanting to discuss it more.
But she just cuts him off.
Essentially, yes. She says, "Leave all the rest to me." She's taking control. At this moment, the drive, the ruthless energy, it's all coming from her.
So who really holds the power in their relationship right now? It seems like she does.
It certainly seems that way initially.
Yeah.
She's the one with the unwavering resolve.
It raises such a disturbing question, doesn't it? When does ambition cross the line into pathology? And how much can one person really push another towards evil? We're watching her actively choose darkness here.
It's a terrifying look at how ambition can corrupt and how determined manipulation can override conscience.
So the stage is set, the dark plan is in motion, and then Duncan arrives. Scene 6, before Macbeth's castle.
And it's almost sickeningly pleasant. Duncan arrives with his entourage, Banquo, his sons, other nobles, and Duncan is just charmed by the place.
He comments on how nice the castle seems, right? The pleasant seat, the air, nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
Exactly. Banquo even points out the martlets, the house martins, nesting there, calling them the temple-haunting martlet. He notes they often build where the air is delicate. It's all images of peace and sanctuary.
Which is just dripping with dramatic irony for us, the audience. We know what Lady Macbeth just said, what they're planning inside.
The irony is incredibly thick. That bird, the martlet, often symbolized purity, sanctuary. So having it nest on the castle walls, this place about to be defiled by murder, is deeply symbolic and tragic.
And Lady Macbeth comes out to greet them.
Oh, yes. And she lays the hospitality on thick. Utterly false, but incredibly convincing. Effusive welcome, talking about how all their services in every point twice done and then done double.
Doubling down on the deception. She's playing the perfect hostess.
She's embodying that innocent flower facade perfectly. It shows her chilling skill at dissimulation, her ability to maintain this performance while plotting the king's murder. It's a mastery of duplicity.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we miss the serpent under the flower? How often do we misread people or situations because we see what we expect or what they want us to see?
Duncan's fate is a brutal lesson in that. He sees the pleasant exterior and assumes all is well, completely missing the deadly reality beneath. It's a stark reminder about the danger of taking things at face value.
Okay, Act 1, Scene 7. This feels like the point of no return, or at least the final debate before it. Macbeth is alone.
And he's wrestling with it. This is his big soliloquy, his last real moment of moral struggle before the deed. If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well, it were done quickly.
He lists all the reasons not to kill Duncan, right?
He does. Powerful reasons. The consequences. Bloody instructions. Return. To plague the inventor. The double trust Duncan has in him as his kinsman and subject and as his host.
Huge breaches of loyalty.
Absolutely. And Duncan's virtues, he says Duncan has been so clear in his great office that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation is taking off. He knows it's wrong. He knows it's a terrible crime.
So what's pushing him forward?
He admits it himself. He has no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. It's pure ambition, outweighing his conscience, his loyalty, everything else. He even recognizes it's likely self-destructive.
He's not inherently evil then, but the ambition is just overwhelming him.
It seems that way. He understands the morality, the risks, but the desire for the crown is stronger. And just as he's reaching this point, almost deciding against it.
Lady Macbeth enters, and she finds him wavering.
And she is having none of it. She immediately goes on the attack. How does she manage to turn him back around?
It's brutal, isn't it? She questions his love for her, questions his courage, his manhood. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? She basically calls him a coward.
She really does. She compares his hesitation to the poor cat in the adage that wants the fish but doesn't want to get its paws wet. And then that shocking graphic image.
Oh, the baby image is horrifying.
I have given suck and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
It's designed purely to shock him, to shame him into action by showing her own terrifying level of resolve. If she could do that, how can he back down now?
Exactly. It's extreme psychological manipulation. And then she lays out the plan, shifting from shaming him to showing how practical it is.
Right, the plan. Get the Chamberlains drunk, use their dagger, smear them with blood, make it look like they did it.
It's cunning. It's detailed. It shows her pragmatic, focused approach. While he's having existential debates, she's figuring out the logistics of murder and plausible deniability.
And it works. He's swayed. He says, I am settled.
He's impressed by her undaunted mettle. And the final line of the act seals it. False face must hide what the false heart doth know. The decision is made. The moral struggle is over.
The die is cast. Wow. Act 1 leaves us right on the precipice.
It really does. It leaves us with this chilling sense that even a noble person, a hero, can be brought down by this toxic mix of external suggestion, internal ambition, and intense psychological pressure from someone they trust. It makes you ask, how fixed is character really? How much can we be twisted?
All right, Act 2. The tension is just cranked up to 11 now. We're in the castle court late at night. Banquo and his son Fleance are there.
And Banquo is clearly uneasy. He can't sleep. He mentions cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. He prays for restraint.
So he's feeling the pull of the witch's prophecies too, about his own descendants becoming kings.
It seems so. He's tempted, but crucially, he resists. He actively fights those cursed thoughts. This really highlights Macbeth's failure to do the same, his moral lapse. Banquo provides that contrast again.
Then Macbeth enters. They have a brief, tense conversation. Macbeth pretends he hasn't thought about the witches.
Yeah, I think not of them. A blatant lie, of course. Banquo leaves, Macbeth sends his servant away, and then the dagger.
The famous dagger scene. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand?
One of the most iconic moments. Is it real? Is it hallucination? A dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain.
What does it signify? His mental state is already fractured.
Absolutely. Even before the murder, his mind is showing the strain. The guilt, the horror of what he's about to do is already manifesting visually. It blurs that line between reality and illusion.
And the dagger becomes bloody, doesn't it? And on thy blade into dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before.
Exactly. It foreshadows the literal blood he's about to spill, but it also shows his mind is already fixated on the violence, the gore. It's an externalization of his inner turmoil. Then the bell rings.
Lady Macbeth's signal.
The signal. And Macbeth's final lines here are chilling. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell. He knows exactly what he's doing.
That intense focus on a decision, a terrible act. Have you ever felt something consume your thoughts so much it feels like it's playing tricks on your mind?
It's a powerful depiction of that pre-crime anxiety and guilt. The psychological toll is immense, even before the physical act is committed. It foreshadows the complete unraveling to come.
Scene 2, the immediate aftermath. The tension is almost unbearable here. Lady Macbeth is waiting.
She's alone, and she says the alcohol she gave the guards has made her bold. That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire.
She confirms they're drugged. But then she reveals something interesting, doesn't she? A limit to her ruthlessness.
Yes. A crucial flicker of humanity. She says she would have killed Duncan herself. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
So even she couldn't quite bring herself to do it directly.
It shows a boundary, a connection to something human, that distinguishes her at this point from Macbeth's complete, agonizing plunge into the act itself.
Then Macbeth enters, he's done it, and he's shattered.
Completely undone. He's holding the bloody daggers. He couldn't say amen when the guards prayed. He heard voices crying, "Sleep no more." Macbeth does murder sleep.
Sleep, representing peace, innocence, it's gone for him.
Exactly. The psychological torment is immediate and overwhelming. His peace is utterly broken. This isn't just regret. It's profound spiritual and mental damage.
And he's obsessed with the blood on his hands.
That incredible imagery. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather. The multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red. The guilt is oceanic, staining everything.
And Lady Macbeth's reaction is so different.
Chillingly different. She scolds him for being weak, calls his thoughts brain-sickly. She tells him to get some water. A little water clears us of this deed. So pragmatic, so dismissive of a moral stain.
The contrast is stark. She takes the daggers back to frame the guards, smears them with blood. She's the practical one, cleaning up the mess, literally and figuratively.
Her resolve seems intact, at least outwardly. But Macbeth is already lost in guilt. Then the knocking starts.
Loud, insistent knocking at the gate.
It's like reality or judgment pounding on the door. It amplifies their panic, disrupts their frantic attempts to cover up.
And Macbeth's final line in the scene, "Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst." Instant, overwhelming regret.
The masterclass in psychological horror. The act is done, but the consequences are just beginning, primarily within their own minds. That immediate weight of a terrible decision. Wishing you could undo it the second after it's done. It's palpable here.
The knocking continues, and then we get the porter. Scene 3 opens with this bizarre, darkly comic moment.
Right. A drunken porter stumbling to the gate, imagining he's the gatekeeper of hell. It's jarring, this comic relief right after the murder.
Why is it there? Is it just to break the tension?
Partly, maybe. But it also weirdly reinforces the atmosphere. The castle has become a kind of hell under Macbeth's actions. The porter's jokes about who might be knocking at Hellgate, a farmer who hanged himself, an equivocator, an English tailor, they subtly echo themes in the play, like greed, deception, and perhaps Macbeth's own damnation.
Interesting. So he finally opens the gate. It's Macduff and Lennox.
Yes, they've come to wake the king. Macduff goes to Duncan's chamber and discovers the horror.
His reaction is pure shock and grief, isn't it? All horror, 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 tie nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
Absolutely. Macduff's genuine reaction establishes him firmly as a figure of loyalty and morality, a stark contrast to the Macbeth's deception. He raises the alarm.
Everyone gathers. Lady Macbeth, Banquo, Malcolm, Donalbain. Macbeth and Lennox arrive, pretending they've just seen the body.
And Macbeth puts on a performance. He declares, in this feigned pious rage, that he killed the chamberlains.
Why? Why does he do that? It wasn't part of the plan.
It's an impulsive, desperate act. He's trying to silence any potential witnesses and solidify the frame-up. His explanation that his love for Duncan overwhelmed his reason is pretty thin.
Does anyone buy it?
Macduff immediately asks sharply, "Wherefore did you so?" It plants a seed of suspicion right away. It's an overreaction that could expose him.
And Lady Macbeth faints at this point.
She does. Is it genuine shock? Overwhelm. Or a calculated move to distract everyone from Macbeth's suspicious confession, Macduff's pointed question. It's ambiguous, but it effectively shifts the focus.
Meanwhile, Malcolm and Donalbain have a quiet word. They're scared.
And rightly so. Donalbain has that great line. "Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the near bloody." They realize they're likely the next targets.
So they decide to flee.
Yes, Malcolm to England, Donalbain to Ireland. It's a smart move for their safety, but...
It makes them look guilty.
Exactly. It inadvertently plays right into Macbeth's hands, giving him convenient scapegoats.
Wow. One terrible act just sends these ripples of chaos, deception, suspicion everywhere. Innocent people forced into desperate choices.
It shows how quickly tyranny destabilizes everything, twisting perceptions and forcing impossible decisions. The immediate fallout is messy and dangerous for everyone.
Scene 4 takes us outside the castle. Ross is talking to an old man.
And they're discussing strange, unnatural events that have happened since Duncan's murder. It's like the natural world itself is reacting to the crime.
What sort of things?
It's dark during the daytime, by the clock, 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. An owl, usually a predator of mice, has killed a falcon, a noble bird.
A reversal of the natural order.
Precisely. And Duncan's horses, beautiful and well-trained, broke out of their stalls and went wild, apparently even eating each other. Cannibalistic horses.
That's intense. What's the significance of all this?
It's powerful symbolism. The unnatural act of killing a king, disrupting the divine order, is mirrored by chaos in the natural world. Nature itself is out of joint, reflecting the moral and political disorder Macbeth has unleashed. The great chain of being is broken.
Then Macduff arrives.
Yes, and he confirms the official story, or the story being put about. Malcolm and Donalbain are suspected because they fled. And Macbeth,
He's already gone to Scone to be crowned king.
swift work. Despite the chaos, he's achieved his immediate goal. But Macduff adds a crucial detail. He's asked where he's going. Is he going to the coronation?
And he says no, right? He's going home to Fife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a quiet but incredibly significant act of dissent. He's not endorsing Macbeth's kingship. It signals his distrust, his integrity. He suspects foul play.
And he has that line, lest our old robes sit easier than our new. That's a subtle dig at the new king.
A very pointed critique. It marks Macduff as an outsider to this new regime, setting him up as a future opponent. While Macbeth has grabbed the crown, the seeds of opposition are already sown.
It really feels like the world is upside down after Duncan's death. Those unnatural signs. Have you ever noticed how after some big traumatic event, things just feel wrong, like the normal rules don't apply? Maybe not cannibal horses, but...
But a sense of deep unease, yeah, like the very atmosphere has changed. Shakespeare captures that feeling powerfully here. The world itself is sickened by the crime.
Okay, Act 3. Macbeth is now king. We're back in the palace at Forres. And the act opens with Banquo, thinking aloud.
Yes, and he's deeply suspicious. His opening soliloquy makes it clear. Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promise, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. He suspects Macbeth cheated his way to the throne.
But he's also thinking about the prophecies for himself, isn't he?
He is. He remembers the promise that his descendants will be kings, and he holds on to that hope. May they not be my oracles as well and set me up in hope. It makes him more complex than just a purely virtuous figure. He has his own touch of ambition, which perhaps makes Macbeth fear him even more.
Macbeth enters, playing the gracious king, welcoming Banquo to a feast he's holding that night.
But it's all a performance. He very subtly probes Banquo. Where is he riding this afternoon? Is Fleance going with him? How far is he going?
Gathering intelligence, he's already planning something.
Absolutely. Once Banquo leaves, Macbeth reveals his true feelings in another soliloquy. He's deeply afraid of Banquo.
Why Banquo specifically?
Macbeth says Banquo has a royalty of nature, a dauntless temper, and a wisdom that doth guide his valor. He sees Banquo as inherently noble and wise, a natural leader, a stark contrast to himself. And crucially, he fears the prophecy about Banquo's sons.
Right, the fruitless crown idea.
Exactly. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown and put a barren scepter in my gripe. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan have I murdered. He realizes he's gone through hell, damned his soul, potentially all for Banquo's children to benefit.
That's a powerful motivator for paranoia.
He drives him to his next crime. He calls in 2 murderers. And notice how he handles them.
He doesn't just order the killing.
No, he manipulates them. He spends time convincing them that Banquo is the cause of all their past misfortunes, that Banquo is their enemy. He questions their manhood, just like Lady Macbeth did to him.
Wow, the cycle continues. He's learned her techniques.
He has. It marks a chilling descent into calculated evil. He's not just reacting anymore, he's strategically planning and manipulating others to do his dirty work. He instructs them to kill both Banquo and Fleance that night, away from the palace.
So getting what he wanted, the crown, hasn't brought peace at all. It's just brought more fear.
Greater fear, deeper paranoia. It shows the psychological cost of tyranny. Once you start down that path of violence, each step seems to necessitate the next, just to secure what you've already stolen. There's no going back, only deeper in.
Scene 2. We see Lady Macbeth now, and she's not happy either, is she?
No. The crown hasn't brought her contentment. She has that incredibly telling line, "Naught's had, all spent, where our desire is got without content." They have what they wanted, but it's hollow. There's no joy in it. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Better to be dead like Duncan than live with this anxiety.
That's the implication. Then Macbeth enters, and he's clearly tormented too. He talks about suffering terrible dreams that shake us nightly. He envies Duncan's peaceful sleep in the grave.
He says Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. He'd rather be dead than live in this restless ecstasy.
It's a profound statement of their shared misery. The power they crave has become a prison of fear and guilt. Lady Macbeth tries to snap him out of it, telling him what's done is done.
But Macbeth knows it's not done, right? He has that line about the snake.
Yes, we have scotched the snake, not killed it. He means Duncan is dead, but the threat isn't gone. Banquo and Fleance still live, representing the danger to his reign and the continuation of the prophecy he wants to stop. His mind is full of scorpions.
And he hints at the new plan, doesn't he? But he doesn't tell her the details.
Exactly. He hints at a deed of dreadful note, but tells her to be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed.
That's a big shift in their dynamic.
It's huge. He's now taking the initiative for murder, and he's keeping her out of it. It shows his further descent into autonomous evil. He doesn't need her pushing anymore, and perhaps a growing distance between them, a breakdown in their partnership. He's taking the lead in villainy now.
He ends with that line, "Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill." He believes more violence is the only way forward.
It's a terrifying philosophy, isn't it? That the only way to secure gains made through evil is through more evil. It shows how trapped he feels, how committed he is to this dark path.
Achieving a goal through terrible means, it rarely brings the happiness you expect, does it? This scene really drives home that cost, the hollowness of success built on destruction.
Absolutely. The doubtful joy is all they have left.
And now, the deed a dreadful note. Scene 3, a park near the palace. It's dark.
Yes, the 3 murderers are waiting. Interestingly, there are 3 now. Macbeth only hired 2 initially.
Why 3? Did Macbeth send another one?
It seems so. The first murderer is surprised to see the 3rd. It suggests Macbeth is already so paranoid that he doesn't fully trust the first 2. He sends a 3rd, perhaps to ensure the job is done right, or maybe even to watch the watchers. It shows his increasing distrust and calculation.
Banquo and Fleance arrive. The ambush happens quickly.
Very quickly. They attack Banquo. He cries out, "Ooh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance! Fly, fly, fly! Thou mayest revenge!"
And Fleance escapes.
He does. In the darkness and confusion, Fleance gets away. The murderers kill Banquo, but they know immediately they've failed in a crucial aspect.
"We have lost best half of our affair," one says.
That escape is absolutely critical. It's a major turning point. It means the prophecy about Banquo's line can still come true. Macbeth's attempt to control fate, to eliminate that threat, has failed.
So his paranoia is just going to get worse.
Exponentially worse. This failure seals his fate, in a way. It ensures the continuation of the conflict and his eventual downfall. His efforts are ultimately futile against the witch's predictions.
The scene is so dark, literally and metaphorically. The murder happens away from the palace, shrouded in secrecy.
It emphasizes the furtive, treacherous nature of Macbeth's rule now. He has to maintain this facade of kingship while orchestrating these brutal acts in the shadows.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Even the best laid plans, especially evil ones, can go wrong. Sometimes one small detail changes everything.
Fleance's escape is exactly that detail. A small boy running into the darkness, carrying the weight of future prophecy and Macbeth's doom.
Scene 4, the state banquet. Macbeth is playing the role of the gracious host, trying to project normalcy and legitimacy.
He's putting on that false face again, welcoming all the lords, making a show of unity. But his anxiety is simmering just beneath the surface.
And then the first murderer shows up at the door.
Right, with blood on his face. He confirms Banquo is dead, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trench gashes on his head. But then comes the bad news.
Fleance escaped.
Fleance escaped. Macbeth's reaction is immediate despair. Then comes my fit again. Now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. That freedom he hoped for is gone. The threat remains.
He tries to pull himself together, rejoin the fist, but when he goes to sit down,
his seat is taken by Banquo's ghost, visible only to Macbeth.
This isn't like the witches, is it? This feels different, more psychological.
Absolutely. This is widely interpreted as a manifestation of Macbeth's guilt and paranoia. It's his conscience, his crime, literally taking a seat at the table, impossible to ignore. He cannot escape what he's done.
And his reaction is not subtle.
Not at all. He's terrified. He starts talking to the empty chair. "Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me." The lords are bewildered, confused. They see nothing.
This is his public unraveling, isn't it?
It's the first time his internal torment breaks through his public facade so dramatically. His admired disorder, as Lady Macbeth calls it, exposes his instability to his nobles. It sows seeds of doubt, fear, and suspicion among them. His authority is visibly crumbling.
Lady Macbeth tries to cover for him again.
She does, desperately. She tells the lords it's just a momentary fit, something he's had since youth. Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus. She pulls Macbeth aside, scolds him, asks, "Are you a man?" She tries to dismiss the ghost as like the air-drawn dagger earlier.
But it's not working this time. The ghost reappears.
And Macbeth loses it again. He challenges the ghost. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence. It's too much. The feast is ruined.
Lady Macbeth has to dismiss the guests quickly. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
It's an admission of defeat, really. She can't control him or the situation anymore. This scene marks a turning point for her, too. The strain is showing. It's arguably the beginning of her own breakdown.
Left alone, Macbeth is shaken. He notes Macduff wasn't there. Another sign of dissent.
Yes, Macduff's absence is significant. Macbeth immediately clocks it as a snub, a potential threat. And then he makes a chilling resolution.
He decides to go see the witches again.
I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know, by the worst means the worst. He wants more information, more control, even if it comes from evil sources.
And he acknowledges how far gone he is.
That chilling line, I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. He feels he's past the point of no return. Turning back is just as hard as continuing down this bloody path. It's a complete commitment to evil.
Wow. That banquet scene is just so powerful. Guilt made visible, paranoia destroying him from the inside out, even in public.
It's a terrifying portrayal of how hidden crimes can haunt you, making your world a private hell, no matter how grand the setting. The psychological weight becomes unbearable.
Scene 5 gives us a brief interlude. Back with the supernatural, we meet Hecate.
Yes, the goddess of witchcraft. And she is not happy with the three witches.
Why? What did they do wrong?
They've been meddling with Macbeth without her supervision or involvement. She feels they've wasted their efforts on a wayward son who acts out of selfish ambition, not out of devotion to evil itself. She accuses them of trafficking with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death without her guidance.
So there is a hierarchy in evil here.
Apparently. Hecate asserts her authority. She tells them she's going to take over Macbeth's case personally. She plans to meet him in the morning.
And what's her plan?
To exploit his weakness. She says she'll prepare artificial sprites and illusions that will draw him on to his confusion. The goal is to make him overconfident, spurning fate and death.
Ah, that line about security.
Exactly. Her famous chilling line. And you all know, security is mortal's chiefest enemy. She plans to destroy him by making him feel safe, invincible.
That's the trap. Feed his hubris until he makes fatal mistakes.
Precisely. It reinforces the idea that while Macbeth makes his own choices, there are powerful, malevolent forces actively working to ensure his downfall, often by playing on his own character flaws. They're setting him up for the final act by boosting his false confidence.
We often hear that overconfidence is dangerous. Here we see it being deliberately weaponized by supernatural forces. It makes you think about times when feeling too safe might have led to carelessness, or worse.
It's a potent warning against complacency and the danger of believing you're untouchable. Hecate is engineering Macbeth's fatal sense of security.
Scene 6 brings us back to the human world. Back to the palace at Forres. Lennox is talking to another lord.
And this scene is crucial because it shows that the opposition to Macbeth is growing, and people are starting to connect the dots, even if they have to speak carefully.
Lennox uses a lot of sarcasm, doesn't he? Talking about Duncan's murder.
Heavy sarcasm. He recounts the official story Macbeth killed the guards in a pious rage because they supposedly murdered Duncan. But his tone makes it clear he doesn't believe a word of it. He implies Macbeth is the real villain. He asks, wasn't it nobly done that Macbeth killed them before they could deny it?
He also brings up Banquo's death, Fleance's flight, suggesting it's all suspiciously convenient for Macbeth.
Exactly. He paints Macbeth's actions as monstrous, even while pretending to praise them. How it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too. For 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. The sarcasm is biting.
So the nobles are seeing through the facade.
Some are, yes. This scene shows that distrust is spreading. They might be afraid to speak openly, but the whispers have begun. The Lord confirms this growing suspicion and shares important news.
What news?
That Malcolm, Duncan's rightful heir, is in England. He's been received by the virtuous King Edward the Confessor.
And Macduff. The Lord mentions Macduff refused Macbeth's command to return.
Yes, Macduff has also gone to England. He's gone to plead with King Edward for help, specifically to raise an army with the aid of Siward, the Earl of Northumberland, a famous English soldier.
So the resistance is organizing. Malcolm and Macduff are joining forces, seeking foreign aid to overthrow Macbeth.
Precisely. This is where the counter-movement really starts to take shape. They hope to bring back food, peace, and free honors to Scotland, which is suffering under Macbeth, whom the Lord calls a tyrant.
Macduff's refusal to attend the feast, and now his flight to England. Macbeth isn't going to like that.
Not at all. It confirms Macduff as a major threat in Macbeth's eyes. This scene clearly sets up the forces aligning against Macbeth, driven by a desire for justice and the restoration of legitimate rule.
Even when a tyrant seems all-powerful, those seeds of resistance can take root, can't they? Even if it starts with whispers and sarcasm.
It's a reminder that oppressive power often breeds its own opposition. The hope for freedom begins to stir.
Act 4 opens with one of the most iconic scenes, the witches in their cavern around the cauldron.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. It's incredibly theatrical, adding all those grotesque ingredients: eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, creating this potent, evil brew.
And Macbeth comes to them. He demands answers, more prophecies. He wants certainty.
He's desperate for control, for reassurance. And the witches, likely guided by Hecate now, conjure 3 apparitions to give him exactly what he thinks he wants, but in a dangerously misleading way.
What are the apparitions?
First, an armed head. It warns him directly.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife.
Okay, that seems clear enough. A direct warning.
It confirms his fear, yes. But then comes the second apparition, a bloody child. It tells him, be bloody, bold, and resolute, laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
None of woman born. That sounds like everyone. He must feel invincible after hearing that.
Exactly. That's the false security Hecate planned. It seems to make the first warning irrelevant. Why fear Macduff if no man born of woman can harm him?
And the third apparition?
A child crowned with a tree in his hand. This one says, Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
A forest moving. That sounds impossible. So, more reassurance for Macbeth.
Double reassurance. He feels secure, untouchable. But these prophecies are classic examples of equivocation. They sound straightforward, but have hidden literal meanings that will trap him later. He's being deliberately misled by these juggling fiends.
He still isn't satisfied, though, is he? He demands to know about Banquo's descendants.
Yes, will Banquo's issue ever reign? And the witches show him a vision. A line of 8 kings, clearly descended from Banquo, with Banquo's ghost pointing at them and smiling.
That must be horrifying for Macbeth. Confirmation that his murders were ultimately for Banquo's family, not his own.
It's his worst fear realized. His fruitless crown torment made visual. The witches vanish, leaving him enraged and terrified. Then Lennox arrives.
With news about Macduff.
Yes, Lennox tells him Macduff has fled to England. This news, combined with the first apparition and his rage from the vision of kings, pushes Macbeth over the edge.
He makes a terrible decision.
A truly monstrous one. He vows that from now on his first impulses will be followed immediately by action. The very first slings of my heart shall be the first slings of my hand. And his first thought, attack Macduff's castle.
And kill.
Seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. He orders the slaughter of Macduff's entire innocent family.
Just out of spite, revenge, fear.
It's pure tyranny, an act of unimaginable cruelty born of paranoia and rage. There's no strategic reason for it. They pose no threat. This marks Macbeth's complete moral collapse. He's not just killing rivals anymore. He's slaughtering innocents to lash out at an enemy he can't reach.
He's truly become the villain. No ambiguity left.
None whatsoever. This act strips away any remaining sympathy we might have had. He is consumed by darkness.
Relying on those half-truths from the witches, it led him directly to this abyss. It shows how dangerous it is to seek answers from dubious sources, especially when you only hear what you want to hear.
And how that selective hearing, that wishful thinking can justify horrific actions in your own mind. It's a chilling lesson in self-deception and the slippery slope of evil.
Scene 2 takes us directly to Fife, to Macduff's castle, and it's heartbreaking.
It's one of the most brutal and emotionally devastating scenes in the play. We see Lady Macbeth talking with Ross, and then with her young son.
She's angry at Macduff for leaving, isn't she? She feels abandoned.
Yes, she doesn't understand why he fled. She calls him a traitor, says his flight was madness. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. She compares him unfavorably to the tiny wren who will fight an owl to protect its young. She feels betrayed and vulnerable.
Ross tries to reassure her, tells her Macduff acted wisely perhaps, but he has to leave quickly himself. He seems afraid too.
The atmosphere is thick with fear and uncertainty. Then Lady Macbeth has this poignant conversation with her son.
It's surprisingly witty and sharp, isn't it, considering the circumstances? They talk about fathers, traitors, what it means to swear and lie.
The son is incredibly bright and brave. Their dialogue is full of love and intelligence, which just makes what happens next even more horrific. It highlights their innocence, their normalcy, right before the violence erupts.
A messenger arrives, warns them to flee immediately, but it's too late.
The murderers burst in. They call Macduff a traitor. The son bravely defends his father's name. "Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain."
And they kill him, right there.
They stab the boy. He cries out murder and tells his mother to run. She flees, pursued by the murderers offstage. Her death isn't shown, but it's absolutely implied.
It's just senseless cruelty. Why does Shakespeare show us this?
It serves several crucial purposes. It starkly illustrates the horrific human cost of Macbeth's tyranny. It shows how far he has fallen, that he's now waging war on innocent women and children. There's no political gain here, only monstrous cruelty.
It strips him of any remaining humanity.
Completely. And crucially, it provides Macduff with the most powerful motivation imaginable for revenge. This act transforms the political struggle against a tyrant into a deeply personal vendetta. Macduff will kill Macbeth now, not just for Scotland, but for his family.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? The actions of those in power, especially tyrants, have devastating ripple effects on the most vulnerable. It forces us to confront the brutal reality of unchecked ambition.
And the terrible loss of innocence that comes with it. This scene is intentionally shocking and painful, driving home the true horror of Macbeth's reign.
Okay, scene 3 shifts us to England. A very different atmosphere from Macbeth's Scotland. Malcolm is there with Macduff.
And Malcolm is understandably cautious. His father was murdered by someone he trusted. Now Macduff has shown up, having left his family behind. Malcolm needs to know if Macduff is truly loyal or if he's secretly working for Macbeth.
So Malcolm tests him.
It's quite an elaborate test. Malcolm pretends to be far worse than Macbeth ever was. He claims he's riddled with vices, uncontrollable lust, insatiable greed, avarice, and absolutely none of the virtues needed to be a good king, the king becoming graces. He paints himself as someone who would plunge Scotland into even deeper chaos.
Why would he do that?
To see how Macduff reacts. If Macduff agrees, or tries to flatter him, Malcolm knows he's untrustworthy. But if Macduff despairs for Scotland under such a potentially awful king, it proves his loyalties to the country, not to personal gain.
And how does Macduff react?
He's horrified. He listens to Malcolm list these supposed vices, and finally he breaks. "Oh, Scotland, Scotland!" He laments the country's fate, saying his hopes are ended. This passionate despair convinces Malcolm.
Macduff passed the test.
He did. Malcolm then reveals his true nature. He was lying. He is actually virtuous, a virgin, not greedy and ready to serve his country. This test establishes Malcolm as a wise, prudent leader. Unlike his overly trusting father, he's learned from the past.
Just as they reconcile, Ross arrives from Scotland.
Yes, and he brings terrible news about the state of the country under Macbeth. He describes Scotland as a place where almost itself afraid to know itself, where sorrow is common, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps.
He hesitates to tell Macduff the worst news, though.
He does. It's agonizing. He eventually reveals the devastating truth.
Yeah.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered.
Oh, Macduff's reaction must be.
Utter devastation. He's stunned, repeats, "All my pretty ones." Did you say all? Oh, Hellkite, all. Malcolm urges him to dispute it like a man, meaning seek revenge.
But Macduff says he must also feel it as a man. He needs to grieve first.
It's a profoundly human moment. But then that grief turns into burning rage. He vows vengeance. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length, set him.
It's personal now. He will face Macbeth.
Absolutely. This news galvanizes him. The alliance is solidified. Malcolm reveals that King Edward of England has provided troops 10,000 soldiers, led by the experienced warrior Siward. They are ready to invade Scotland.
And there's that mention of King Edward having healing powers.
Yes, the king's evil, scrofula, which he supposedly cures with his touch. It contrasts Edward's holiness and divine legitimacy with Macbeth's diseased, tyrannical rule. It aligns Malcolm's cause with righteousness and hope.
This scene shows true leadership emerging, doesn't it? Malcolm's caution, Macduff's grief turning into resolve, the formation of this force for good.
Exactly. It signals that the tide is turning, that Scotland's suffering might soon end. And it powerfully explores how personal tragedy can fuel a larger fight for justice, turning grief into righteous action.
Act 5, the final act, and it opens with maybe one of the most famous scenes in the play, Lady Macbeth sleepwalking.
It's unforgettable. We see her observed by a doctor and a gentlewoman. She's asleep, but walking, talking, and compulsively rubbing her hands.
Trying to wash away blood that isn't there. Out, damn spot. Out, I say.
The guilt she so ruthlessly suppressed earlier has completely consumed her subconscious. That little water she thought would clear them of the deed, it wasn't enough. Now she imagines her hands are permanently stained. What will these hands ne'er be clean?
And her words. They reveal everything, don't they? Fragments of past crimes.
Exactly. She relives Duncan's murder. Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? She thinks of Lady Macduff. The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? And Banquo. Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on Timokur's grave. It's like a confession pouring out of her tortured mind.
That line, here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. It's such a powerful contrast to her earlier confidence.
It's the ultimate irony. She who scorned Macbeth's fears is now completely broken by her own conscience. Her famous line, "What's done cannot be undone," which she perhaps once said with resolve, is now uttered with despair. The psychological breakdown is total.
What does the doctor make of it?
He recognizes it's beyond his help. He says her illness needs the divine than the physician. It's a spiritual sickness, a soul tormented by guilt that medicine cannot cure.
She who seemed so strong, so ruthless, utterly destroyed by the consequences.
It highlights the terrible mental cost of their crimes. Guilt, even when buried, can fester and destroy from within. It's a stark portrayal of psychological collapse.
It really makes you think. Can some actions ever truly be washed away? Or do they leave a permanent stain, even if only on the soul?
Her state suggests some stains are indelible. There's no easy absolution here.
Scene 2 takes us outside Dunsinane again. The Scottish nobles are gathering, ready to join the English forces.
Yes, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, they're all there with soldiers. The rebellion is in full swing now. They're marching towards Birnam Wood to meet Malcolm and Macduff.
And they're talking about Macbeth. What's the view of him now?
It's grim. They discuss his state of mind. Some say he's mad, others that his rage is uncontrollable, valiant fury. Crucially, they note his complete lack of support.
His soldiers only obey out of fear.
Exactly. Angus says, those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. His reign is built on fear, not loyalty. And then comes that brilliant metaphor.
The giant's robe.
Yes. Angus says Macbeth now feels his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Wow. That perfectly captures it. He's unfit for the role he stole. The kingship doesn't belong to him, and it shows.
It emphasizes his illegitimacy, how burdened and unnatural his position is. He stole the robes of kingship, but they don't fit his diminished stature.
And these nobles, they're fully committed to Malcolm now.
Completely. They plan to join him to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds, meaning support the rightful king, Malcolm, and destroy the usurper, Macbeth. Their cause feels righteous, aimed at healing Scotland.
It shows how isolated Macbeth has become. His support is crumbling from within.
True power isn't just force. It requires legitimacy, the consent and loyalty of the governed. Macbeth has lost all of that. His kingdom is falling apart even before the final battle.
Scene 3 brings us back inside Dunsinane with Macbeth himself. How's he holding up?
Outwardly defiant, he's clinging desperately to those prophecies. Bring me no more reports, let them fly all, till Birnam Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. And what's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? He believes he's untouchable because of those specific phrases.
That false security Hecate wanted him to feel. It's working.
Perfectly. He dismisses reports of the approaching army, abuses the servant who brings the news, thou cream-faced loon, trying to project strength, but underneath...
Underneath, it's different.
Yes. When he's briefly alone, he delivers this incredibly poignant, weary soliloquy. He acknowledges what his life has become. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf.
He knows he won't have the things that should accompany old age.
Exactly. Honor, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have. Instead, he has curses, not loud but deep. He understands the utter emptiness of his reign, the complete loss of human connection. His isolation is absolute.
It's a moment of tragic awareness, isn't it, amidst the tyranny?
It is. It reminds us he's not just a monster. He's a man who made terrible choices and is now facing the bitter, lonely consequences. Then he calls for his armor, trying to revert to the warrior he once was.
And he talks to the doctor about Lady Macbeth.
Yes. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? He wants a cure for her torment, perhaps reflecting his own.
Can the doctor's reply is significant?
Therein, the patient must minister to himself. A profound line. It suggests that spiritual and moral wounds can't be healed by external means. It requires an internal reckoning, something neither Macbeth nor Lady Macbeth seem capable of now.
Despite this despair, he remains defiant, ready to fight.
He does. He puts on his armor, determined to face the siege. It's a mixture of desperate bravado based on the prophecies and a deeper, perhaps nihilistic despair.
That cost of ambition, sacrificing everything for power, only to find it brings nothing but emptiness and curses. It's a devastating realization for him.
A hollow victory indeed. The power is meaningless without the human connections he's destroyed along the way.
Okay, scene 4. We're outside again, near Burnham Wood. Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and the army are there.
And Malcolm makes a crucial tactical decision.
This is the moving forest bit, right?
Exactly. Malcolm orders every soldier to hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Cut down branches and carry them as camouflage.
Why?
Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery err in report of us. It's to conceal the true size of their army, to confuse Macbeth's scouts. A smart military move.
But for the audience, it's more than that.
Oh, absolutely. This is the fulfillment of the third apparition's prophecy. Macbeth shall never vanquish me until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. The forest is moving towards the castle.
We see the equivocation, the trick in the prophecy, but Macbeth doesn't know it yet.
Not yet. Malcolm's clever strategy inadvertently fulfills the prophecy. It highlights his good leadership in contrast to Macbeth's tyranny, and it carries huge symbolic weight. The natural world, in a sense, is rising up against the unnatural king.
They also mention Macbeth is just waiting in the castle, right? His troops aren't exactly eager to fight for him.
Yes, they hear he's fortifying Dunsinane and letting them endure a siege. His forces are described as constrained things whose hearts are absent too. More evidence of his crumbling support and isolation.
That aha moment for the audience is brilliant, seeing how something seemingly impossible happens through a very practical, mundane action.
It's a fantastic piece of dramatic irony. It reminds us to look beyond the surface, to question assumptions, because the prophecies are unfolding, just not in the way Macbeth expects.
Scene 5. Back inside the castle with Macbeth. He's still projecting confidence, isn't he? Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn.
Still relying on the prophecies and the physical strength of Dunsinane. But then, a cry of women is heard off stage.
What's happened?
Satan, his attendant, goes to check and returns with the stark news. The queen, my lord, is dead.
Lady Macbeth is dead. How does Macbeth react?
It's chillingly detached. His response is, she should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. It's as if he doesn't have the emotional capacity left to process it. Or perhaps life has become so meaningless, even death lacks impact.
And then he delivers that speech tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
Possibly the most famous speech in the play. It's a profound expression of nihilism, of utter despair and meaninglessness. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frits his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
He sees life itself as pointless now. The ultimate cost of his ambition isn't just damnation, maybe, but this complete emptiness.
It seems so. He's lost everything, including, it appears, the capacity to feel or find meaning. But just as he hits this rock bottom of despair, more bad news arrives.
The messenger comes in, terrified.
He swears he saw something unbelievable while on watch. As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, methought, the wood began to move.
Burnham Wood is moving. The second prophecy is coming true.
Macbeth is horrified. He finally understands. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. He realizes the witches have tricked him with double meanings.
His last shred of confidence is shattered.
Completely. But even in despair, what does he decide to do?
Fight. He decides to die fighting. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Exactly. Despite the despair, despite knowing he's been tricked, the warrior spirit flickers one last time. He chooses a defiant end, rushing out to meet his fate.
Wow. The death of the queen, the revelation of the prophecy's trick, his descent into nihilism, it all happens so fast here.
It's the rapid unraveling before the final confrontation. It forces us to confront that void, that emptiness left when morality and meaning are abandoned for power. A truly devastating moment.
Okay, scene 6. Short but significant. Malcolm and the army are right before the castle now.
Yes, they're close enough, and Malcolm gives the order, "Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are."
Reveal yourselves. Drop the camouflage.
Exactly. The deception is over. Their true numbers are revealed. It signals the final, open confrontation is about to begin.
Malcolm sets up the battle lines.
Yes, he gives command of the first wave to Seward and his son, with Macduff supporting them. It shows clear, organized leadership.
A stark contrast to Macbeth's chaotic, isolated state inside. It feels like order is returning.
It symbolizes the unveiling of truth after all the deception, and the organized forces of justice preparing to restore rightful rule. The final push is about to start.
It's that moment of clarity, isn't it? No more hiding, no more tricks, just the raw confrontation. Sometimes revealing the truth is the most powerful move.
Especially against a regime built on lies.
Scene 7 throws us right into the battle. Macbeth is fighting.
He's fighting like a cornered animal. "They have tied me to a stake. I cannot sly, but bear-like I must fight the course." And he's still clinging to that one prophecy.
The none of woman born one.
Right. He shouts, that was not born of woman. Such a one am I to fear or none." And then he encounters young Seward.
Seward's son?
Yeah.
What happens?
They fight, and Macbeth kills him easily. And this victory tragically reinforces Macbeth's belief in his charmed life. "Thou was born of woman," he scoffs. It feeds his fatal hubris.
Meanwhile, Macduff is searching for Macbeth.
Only for Macbeth. He doesn't want to fight anyone else. "If thou be slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghost will haunt me still." His quest is entirely personal, driven by vengeance for his family.
And Macbeth's own forces, how are they doing?
They're collapsing. Malcolm and old Seward enter the castle with little resistance. They find Macbeth's soldiers are either fighting half-heartedly or actively switching sides to join Malcolm.
His army is dissolving around him, underscoring that lack of loyalty.
Completely. His isolation is absolute now, even on the battlefield. His reign is ending not just with external defeat, but internal disintegration.
It's tense watching him fight on, clinging to that one prophecy, that flawed belief.
It shows the power of desperate belief, doesn't it? Even when everything else is falling apart, clinging to one perceived certainty can drive extraordinary, albeit doomed, actions. His tragic hubris is on full display.
Scene 8, the final showdown. Macbeth is still fighting, but he sees Macduff approaching.
He initially seems reluctant to fight Macduff, saying, "My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already," referring to Macduff's family. A flicker of something. Guilt, or just weary resignation.
But Macduff is relentless. They fight. Macbeth boasts again, doesn't he?
Yes. "Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born." He throws his last defense out there.
And then the final twist. Macduff reveals the truth.
The ultimate equivocation revealed. "Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped."
Ripped untimely, meaning born by C-section, not born in the natural way.
Exactly. That's the loophole. He wasn't technically born of woman in the conventional sense. Macbeth is stunned, horrified.
He finally gets it. "Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man." He realizes the witches tricked him to the very end.
"And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense." His last hope is shattered. Macduff tells him to yield, to be displayed publicly as a tyrant.
But Macbeth refuses that humiliation.
Yes, even now, even knowing he's doomed, he refuses to play the Roman fool or kiss the ground before Malcolm. The warrior resurfaces one last time. "Yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, 'Hold enough.'"
A final act of defiance. They fight, and Macbeth is slain.
Macduff exits and re-enters shortly after, carrying Macbeth's severed head.
A gruesome trophy, but symbolic. The tyrant is dead.
Order is restored. Macduff hails Malcolm. "Hail, king, or so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free."
Malcolm is accepted as the rightful king of Scotland.
Yes. Old Seward hears his son die bravely, facing his enemy, and takes pride in his honorable death. Malcolm promises to restore order, reward loyal subjects, call home the exiles who fled Macbeth's tyranny, and deal with the remaining cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen.
And he mentions Lady Macbeth's fate.
He does. He says it's thought that she, by self and violent hands, took off her life. Suicide, the final tragic end to her story of guilt and madness.
So the play ends with the promise of healing, of a return to normalcy under a just king.
Malcolm invites everyone to his coronation at Scone. The time is free. Liberation from tyranny. It's a hopeful, though hard-won resolution. Justice prevails, but the cost has been immense.
That final confrontation, Macduff revealing the truth about his birth, Macbeth's final defiance. It's incredibly powerful.
It brings everything crashing down, the prophecies, the ambition, the bloodshed. It offers resolution, but leaves us contemplating the nature of fate, free will, and the ultimate triumph of justice. Even after such immense tragedy, does fate ultimately correct itself, despite our choices? Hashtag keg outro.
Wow. What an intense journey through the world of Macbeth. Just breathtaking, really.
It really is. From those first chilling words on the heath, to that final, brutal confrontation on the battlefield at Dunsinane.
We've seen ambition ignite, spiral into violence, breed paranoia, and lead ultimately to, well, complete self-destruction.
What really stands out, I think, is that profound exploration of human nature, especially how power, particularly power gained through foul means, it just doesn't bring peace, does it?
No, just the opposite. Fear, isolation.
Exactly. It isolates, it corrupts the soul, leaves you empty. And we also saw so clearly how easily we can be tricked by those half-truths, those equivocations.
Especially when they tell us what we desperately want to hear.
Right. And how that idea of security can be the biggest trap of all, blinding us to real danger.
It's just incredible how relevant these themes feel today, hundreds of years later. That thirst for power, the weight of guilt, trying to find meaning when things feel chaotic, Shakespeare just lays it all bare.
He really does. So, as you, our listener, reflect on Macbeth's tragic story, maybe consider this. We likely all have that seed of ambition inside us somewhere. What keeps it in check? What stops it from growing into something destructive?
What are the guardrails? Internal and external.
Yeah. And what are your Burnham Wood moments? Those things that seem impossible, that challenge your sense of security, make you rethink what you thought you knew.
And maybe, how do you tell the difference between genuine guidance and those tempting but ultimately false whispers of the juggling fiends in your own life? How do you spot the equivocation?
Deep thoughts to end on.
Definitely something to mull over. That wraps up our deep dive into Macbeth. We really hope you're leaving with a richer understanding, maybe some fresh perspectives.
Hope you enjoyed the journey into the darkness.
Until next time, keep digging, keep questioning, and stay curious.